This is Jose. Here I am again with my 2017 Mercedes S550 or W222. Today we're going to be doing a brake fluid flush. Very simple, very easy procedure. You can do it by yourself. If you have a pump, if you don't have a pump, you can still do it by yourself. I'm going to show you how. I have a pump. It's just much simpler doing it that way. You also don't need to take off the wheels on this car, because one of the many beauties of this car is that you can lift the car. It has air suspension, so you can lift it and is high enough to do it. Maybe the front is just a little tighter, so I'm going to use ramps, but mostly the ramps are for my video, just to make it easier, more visible for you guys. But you don't need the ramps in the front. Maybe just a little bit, put something under the wheels just because it's a little tighter. But even so, if you don't have anything to put in front of the wheels, all you have to do is turn the wheel all the way to one side. You'll be able to service one, and the wheel all the way to the other side, and you'll be able to service the other one. Okay, but you need small adapters. They sell them on eBay, Amazon, even on Temu. I saw those adapters. They're very small, and I'll show you in a minute when I show you my tools. But when we do this service and you use the pump, always make sure that the only fluid that goes into that pump is brake fluid. Do not put anything else than that. Label it. Make sure that is only for brake fluid. Don't mix any other fluids. Also, don't mix any DAT3 or DAT4, especially DAT5. DAT5 is completely different fluid, okay? So DAT3 and DAT4, the difference is that the DAT4 fluid is rated for higher temperatures, okay? This car needs, is heavy, it needs more force when you're braking. It makes, that force creates more temperature, so it withstands more temperature, a DAT4 than a DAT3. So that's the only difference, but always make sure you use the right fluid. Maybe you can use the container for both, because there's not going to be that much left in there. Just don't mix it. But don't use DAT3 in this car, and don't use DAT4 in a car that uses DAT3 only. So it's very important to keep those in mind. Well, we're going to start. I'll show you my tools, the tools that we need, and we'll keep making, giving you little tips as we go. Make sure you cover your car. You have to make sure you cover your car, because brake fluid will damage your paint, okay? And if you do drop some paint, some brake fluid on your paint, do not rub it, okay? Wash it, just a lot of water. Put a lot of water on it. Do not rub, do not grab a towel and try to clean it. Don't, because you're going to make it worse. It already went on your paint. It's gonna make a little bit of a mess. But if you put a lot of water on it, it's gonna go. It's not gonna make more damage. It's not gonna make further damage than it already did. So if you do drop it on your paint, just wash it off. Put a lot of water on it. Just water, rinse it off. And put also inside. Put a lot of course. Make sure you clean everything around before you open the container. Okay, the reservoir. And that's it. Let's see what we can do. Oh, one thing to remember, brake fluid attracts a lot of humidity, okay? It's a hygroscopic fluid. Not hydroscopic, it's hygroscopic with a G, not with a D, okay? Hydroscopic has to do with an instrument to measure fluids, but hygroscopic means that the fluid is highly it attracts a lot of humidity, okay? So make sure you don't expose the fluid to humidity too much. So try not to do it in a very humid day. Today is not too humid here, so that's why I decided to do it today. But even when you do the service, don't keep it out in the open for too long. Only open the container for the fluid when you're ready to pour it in, okay? Don't open it before, don't get it ready, open it before, no. Just open it at the moment you're gonna do it. You have to take some of the fluid out from the reservoir, and then when you're ready to do it, then open it. Open the container, put some in the reservoir, and put some in the pump if you're using a pump. I'll show you in a minute how to do those. All right, let's start. Okay, so here are the tools that we need. As I said, we're gonna use ramps to put the car a little higher, and we need gloves. Make sure you use some rags, covers for your car. These are the little adapters. Like these you put on the brake line, on the nipple. Here's an adapter for these to connect to the hose. I have some extra hose also there. After you put the adapter together, PB Blaster, put some of that of the nipples so that you make sure you take them out safely. You don't want them to break on you. If you do break them, I have some extras just in case I bought some extra nipples. And here a torque wrench. We need a 11 millimeter flat wrench, and if you don't have it, you can also use a regular one. Flashlight. Make sure you use safety goggles. You're going to be under the car. Remember, we're not going to take the wheels out, so you're going to be underneath. You don't want that going into your eyes, and if it goes into your face, just wash it with a lot of water. Add something to extract the fluids. And here's the fluid. I used to use this container to drain it out, and well, I'm still going to use the same container, but this had a longer. I put it as in because there's a hose inside connected all the way to the bottom, because when you do push the brake and you let go, the car's going to the system is going to pull some air in. But if the hose is all the way to the bottom, it'll pull some of that fluid that's in instead of pulling air. So that's why that's one thing about that. One of the hoses all the way down. But now I'm using the pump, so it's safer to do it that way. That way it's just pushing and pushing. It's not pulling anything in, and that's mostly used when you're gonna do when you have somebody pumping the brakes for you. Somebody sometimes they don't hear you right, and you said push the brake, and they said they heard let go. So when they let go and you open your nipple with your wrench, it'll let air in if they let go of the brake. So that's why that has to be, you make sure you put that hose all the way in. But it's safer, it's easier, faster to do it with the pump. Okay, so that'll be it. All right, so the reservoir is back here. We have to take the covers out. For this, you just use the flat screwdriver. Just take the little pins out that hold the cover. Make sure you clean these before you start anything. Mine is already clean, but just in case. All right. We're gonna need these. Take some fluid out. We're gonna need our pump. So when you're doing this, you have to make sure that you go back to the same level of the fluid, okay? So right now I'm 3/4 of the way between minimum and maximum. So that's where we're gonna go, 3/4 of the way. If you wanna put some kind of sign, I don't wanna write anything on it, but maybe use a little bit of tape. Put it here, that's where you're gonna fill it to. Don't fill it to the max, fill it back to where it is, because when you do your brakes, that fluid is gonna come up, and you push the brakes, it's gonna be way too much fluid in there, okay? So always check where your fluid is to do the service. Okay, we're gonna start. We have to pressurize the system, make sure there's no leaks. So this comes with your pump. If you're not using the pump, of course, you don't have to do this. As long as you know for sure you don't have any leaks, it will be okay. If you are using the pump, they have two different connectors. This one swivels, you can change it. You can tighten these up as you go. This is a separate kit. If you use the regular one, the one that comes with it, the black cap, everything turns. You turn with the hose, so it's gonna, when you finish tying it, it's gonna be all folded like this or kinked or something. So this avoids that. You don't get your hose kinked. So this has to be nice and tight. So we're gonna get some pliers to close these, or wrenches. If you want to check if your fluid is good, I have a little video, a short, on how to check that with a voltmeter. So you can take a look at that video. I'll put it in the description so you can see it. And I also have a short video, no, a full video on how to tow the car, and then you'll be able to see how to lift the car, how to lift the air suspension. So take a look at those videos. All right, so we have this nice and tight. We're gonna pump it. You're supposed to keep the system at 15 psi when you're filling in. So we're gonna pump it and leave it at 15 and see if the air escapes somewhere. Make sure this is nice and tight. So it's at 15. We're gonna leave it like that for a few minutes. Come back and make sure that it's okay before we can start with the fluid. We don't want to put any fluid in there if there's any leak on this system or on our car system, the braking system. So let's leave it like that and see what happens. Okay, so the pressure is stable. Now we're going to release the pressure in the system, but we cannot do it from here. Never loosen these out to lose pressure, because all that pressure is going to go there, and as you're pulling these out, all the fluid is going to come out and hit you in the face. So always make sure you take the pressure off from here. This is what. All right, pressure is released. Now it's safe to remove this. We're going to remove this. Because we have to pull as much fluid as we can out of here, so we don't have to pass all that fluid through the system. So we're gonna take some of that fluid out. Let's see. Make sure everything is covered. And we're going to dump the fluid here for now. There's a little filter in here, a little canister. Put that out of the way and start pulling the liquid. Okay, we're ready. We have the fluid in the container, and we're going to start pumping. All right, we pump this to 15 psi. You see how the fluid starts flowing towards the container, the reservoir. So now, after we fill these up, okay, fill this with the fluid, then put the hose in, fill these with the fluid, pump it up to 15 psi, and then we're gonna go around and start flushing the lines, okay? And every time you do a tire or a side, every time you do a side, you have to come back and check for pressure, pump it up a little more, but don't go past 15. 15 is plenty. I just want to show you real quick before we continue what I use when I do the brakes by myself. You pump the brakes, you put these on, okay, and that will keep the brakes down so you could loosen the nut. It takes a long time because you're doing it on your own, because you have to keep going back and forth, but it works. Also, another thing that you could do is use a check valve on the line. You buy a hose with a check valve, Okay, it only goes in one direction. Focus on these. Oh, I can't focus, but you use a check valve. That way no air goes back into the system. Okay, so we're gonna be using a little hose, no check valve, and the container to put the fluid in. This is what we're using with the adapter. Okay, here we go. First thing, don't forget your safety goggles, safety glasses, okay, first, safety first. So our plug is here, and I put some pictures of these, maybe right around here so you can see. But this is the rear right tire. This is where you start. This is the farthest one. You start on the farthest line. Then you go to the rear left line, and then you go to the front right, and then front left last. So this is, as I said, very easy. This is just a plug in there. You pull it out. Now remember, this is me doing this with the camera right on my face. I can't be in the middle of the shot so you can see. So it'll be a lot easier for you. As I say, you use these attachments, these adapters. This pulls out. This is how they come. I put some links below. Okay. The hose goes here. This goes into that adapter. Here is the container with the hose. Make sure this is not kinked. Make sure this doesn't bend on you, so that it doesn't build up pressure, because remember there's pressure coming from the front. So we're gonna put the nipple right there. All right, so let's start. Loosen these up. You're gonna see fluid start coming out here. There we go. There's the fluid. It's constantly pushing it out. This is the longest line, so it's gonna take a little longer for this one than all the others. And a lot more fluid to come out too. I want to stop a little bit and just so I could go check the pressure. Let's go see. Pressure went down to 10, so I pump it up a little. There we go, some more fluid. Now it's easier to tell when your fluid is bad, because as it flows you're going to see the difference in the old fluid with the new fluid, because the old fluid will be darker, will be dirty, but the fluid in my car was clean, so it's not going to show too much. Okay, there's not going to be much of a difference, so make sure you pull enough. And it's also a good habit to, every time to do is, every time you do the brakes, every time you change your brakes, drain some of this fluid, okay? Because the fluid that's right there, right here, the first probably foot or so of the line, that's what gets used the most. It's going in and out of the calipers. Okay, so try to drain a little bit of the fluid, flush it when you are doing your brakes, just a little bit, and then you can refill it at the front. And as I said, when they're brand new brakes, the fluid goes to the max. Right now we just have to go 3/4 of the way, since we are only replacing the fluid and not the brakes. Let's go check on pressure. last little drip. I did have to pump this a few times, but this is the longest line, so that'll be the last of it. And then we go to the next. That's it. If you notice, I have the two connections here. All I have it is, this is what I have it for. Okay, so I don't have leaks all over the place. And we move on to the next wheel. We have a better view on this one than the other side because this one doesn't have that sensor right there. So we're going to take the rubber piece out, the cover. And we connect our little adapter in there. As you can see, no need to take the tire out. Okay, the wheels stay in place. And here we go. And there is our fluid. Make sure it doesn't kink. You can see a constant flow of the fluid. There's no air bubbles or anything like that. You have to make sure of that. If you see any bubbles, there's a leak somewhere in the system. You don't want any bubbles anywhere. This is the second one. The second tire we do is the left rear of the car, okay? Left side in the back. All right, let's close these and see how we're doing with the pressure in front. Got to make sure there's enough pressure in there. Pump is better to have somebody helping you. It's just faster. You can still do it on your own. But as I said, you use a check valve on the line because that way you make sure that everything goes only one way. So the flow will go this way, but nothing will go back, either fluid or air. But you can also do as I did with my container. You put the connection all the way down to the bottom. Of course, you have to have some liquid in there so that if for any reason anything goes back, it'll be fluid and not air, okay? Now this one is gonna take a little less time than the other one on the right. It's still a long line, goes all the way in the back, and this is a long car, but it's not gonna be as long when we go to the front. You have to make sure you torque this 159 inch-pounds, okay, or 18 Newton meters. If you want to do it in foot-pounds, I believe it's 13.3 foot-pounds. Let's go for a check again. Let's see how much we have. Let's go just one more time, and that'll be it. I want to double check the torque for these is 18 Newton meters, 13.3 foot-pounds, and 159 inch-pounds. I just wanted to confirm. So you have the correct information, whichever measurement you want to use. 18 Newton meters, 13.3 foot-pounds, or 159 inch-pounds of torque. Okay, so we're okay with this one. Okay, so this is the front of the car, the right side. Gonna be a little difficult. Okay, this is the right side of the car, the front. Okay, the nipple's right on top. I'm gonna take the cover out. Now the last one, the front left side. I found it easier that I can get these out with a screwdriver. I don't know why the ones in the front are so tight, but yeah, that's what it is. So there you go, and it's out. Just make sure you put it back. Also, since the front is like that, I found that it was a little easier to use a ratchet. Take it off. There's pressure on it. Oh, put my toes on. Uh-oh. I open it too much, so don't do that. Now this is the last one, so keep an eye on the fluid up there, keep an eye on the pressure. You only need about 2 and less than half liters of fluid. I put all 3 liters in it, so just in case, but and I'm still using everything. Trying to make sure I have it all. Okay, we're all done with this. Let's put the plug back on. Make sure you torque all of them, and we'll finish. All 4 of them are done. Just make sure you don't run out of fluid on top, okay? Let's see how we're doing up there. Okay, so all 4 sides are done, all 4 tires. So if you want to take the tires out, by the way, it is a little easier to do the service. I just don't like to take the wheels out if I don't have to. But if you take the wheels out, make sure you torque them 110 foot-pounds or 150 Newton meters. Don't go crazy with the gun or stepping on the handle to push down and make that tight. No, they're not supposed to be that tight. That's how people break them, and then you have to change the whole hub, and this is a whole different issue. So make sure you torque them as 110 foot-pounds or 150 Newton meters, depending on what measurement you want to use. But here we are with this. Don't run out of fluid. As I said, I put extra in there. I put 3 liters. All you need is a little over 2 liters. But I have some left here. And now we gotta let the pressure go. So as I said, you let the pressure go from the tank. Don't let it go from the reservoir, because you're gonna have all that splash all over the car and all over you. So before we lose the pressure, just make sure that the pressure was kept, it stayed. Okay, this is one way to make sure that you didn't leave anything loose. You can double check. You can pump this up a little, go up to 15 again, and leave it there. Go around the car, make sure there's no leaks, nothing coming out of any of the nipples. That way you make sure, double check your work and make sure that it's all tight. Okay, so let's, well, we can wait a few minutes. I'll go around, make sure everything is okay, and check with the flashlight, and then we can come back and take these off and make sure that, after that we make sure that the reservoir only has the correct amount of fluid. As we said from the beginning, we have to check on the amount of fluid you have in there. So I had about 3/4 of the way between the minimum and the maximum, so that's what we're gonna leave it at. And we have to take out the excess fluid. So let's just check underneath while we check on pressure. Okay, so pressure is fine. Now let's let the air go. All right, there's no more pressure in the system. Let's take these out. Now let's take some fluid out. Let's not leave this for too long. You can use a light in the back of the reservoir to see how much you have. And we have to be 3/4 of the way in this scenario, okay? Okay, all done. We just put this back with our cover. Remember, always double check your work and make sure you wear your safety goggles. Don't spill anything on your face or your eyes. And now we're all done. Okay, so the service is done, and very simple procedure. Just make sure when you go out, check the brakes, go slow first, make sure you pump it a little bit, so that you check if the brakes are really working the way they're supposed to. Go slow, as I said, and keep going up in speed little by little, so you can make sure they work. And as I said, my personal preference is to leave the wheels. I do not take them out. It's just another job, some extra things to do when you take the wheels out. But if you do take them out, just make sure they're torqued to specs, and same thing with the nipples. Torque the nipples. You need the 11mm wrench and socket to do the service, and you have to do the service every 2 years, or when you think the fluid is bad. So a way to check the fluid, as I mentioned, I have a video on that. You can check with the voltmeter, and also you can check humidity. If you have a machine to check humidity, you can do that too. So the fluid on my car wasn't too bad, but it was already more than 2 years since last time that was serviced. So I just went ahead and did it, even though it seemed okay. I don't like to wait for things to get bad before I do it, so I just did it as a precaution, same thing as I do the oil change. I do it a little before it's due. Even though I already do it at 3,000 miles. I don't wait any longer than that, and that way the car will last you a lot longer. You won't have any issues, because remember, all these fluids are lubricating the parts. In this case, the brake system is being lubricated with the fluid. So make sure you replace them on time. Don't wait until the fluid is dark, it's black, completely bad. Don't wait until that moment. So do it as soon as possible. Follow as many tips as you can. Watch other videos. Is also good to watch other videos, see how other people approach these, not only these, but everything else. Maintenance is very important. So that will be it for now. See you in the next video.